So we're going to have we've been chatting to the players and the management. We're going to have a chat now with some fans about the season. Obviously, the season finished abruptly. I've got Dean, George, and Brownie with me. I don't know why I've got Brownie on. He's only been to about 5 games.
I counted how many games I went to.
I'm just impressed you made it on, Brownie, on here.
We had a few technical itches, but we're okay now.
Yeah. You start cycling get the electricity going, yeah?
Yeah.
And you've had a haircut. No lockdown beard and hair troubles in Suffolk then?
Oh, no, I haven't had a haircut. Hair still from last time. Just trimmed the beard a bit.
Yeah. Bet he was looking a bit like Tom Hanks, wasn't you? Castaway.
Castaway.
Oh. Dean, how are you?
Not bad, thanks, Luke.
Good. And George?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, yeah.
Good. So, season stopped, finished in 10th. I think can call it a success, really, can't we?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. We had a good start to the season, didn't we? Near the top, September. We had blips in the season where we learned from a couple of mistakes that we made, but overall, a really good season on a lower budget and a much younger side who at times played some really good stuff.
Yeah, I thought obviously I didn't see too many games at the start of the season, but with the people who came in, I thought we did really well. Some lads probably playing up the level. A lot of young players in there. Towards the end of that start period, if you like, I thought that's when they faltered a little bit. And obviously, TY and John tried as best they could to get players in to counteract that and strengthen the squad. I think they struggled with a partner for Jordan really sometimes because of John, being injured. But once we got John McCoon back fit, we had Tom Dean there for places as well. I thought Dean was actually quite unlucky not to partner Jordan as much as he could have done. Really, because with the way the form went in for John McCoon and Jordan fitting in so well together again, he was unlucky not to feature more. Really.
Yeah, T.Y. did mention at the end of the season, he but with John's experience there, and we looked really solid at the back as well. I think John's back was given out by Morpeth, so Tom Dean probably would have got in, so the season finished at the wrong time for him. But
yeah, that's what I thought as well. I thought that, Luke. I thought perhaps Tom would feature more towards the end of the season, being settled in,
I think
especially with the amount of games. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that it's not just the centre half position that was the problem. Seemed to be the right back problem because we had Jacko, we had James Neal in there, we had Warren Thompson, Bailey Gooder. Before we ended up with Brad Roscoe, who obviously had all that experience, played the last 20 games of the season or whatever, and looked the part and showed us why he got into the team of the year last year.
Yeah, I thought that, Dean. Yeah.
Same with the goalkeepers as well. We went through 5 goalkeepers throughout the season. James Ogg was getting injured on the first game, and then we had scoring the loan market. We had Mewit and we had French and Kai Calderbank Park, and then we ended up with Lloyd Ellison in the end, and again he looked the part. And it just seemed like if we would have started the season with the lads that we ended up with, where would we have been now? I mean, obviously
it was a settled kind of back 4, back 5 on it towards the end, and they all kind of knew the roles, and I think that played a part in some of the good results that we had towards the end. With a solid side that we had, you knew every week there was no injuries. You'd be able to put the same starting 11 out, and it helped for consistency wise anyway.
Yeah, like you say, with the goalkeeper coming in there, I mean, I've mentioned it to a few of the players that have interviewed. It'd be good to keep that nucleus of the side for next season. If Dave can do that and have 3 or 4 really good players on top of that, then we can certainly improve on 10th position. I'm not going to say playoffs, but I certainly think we can improve on 10th.
I think one thing over the course of the season that we were lacking on was someone that you could rely on week in, week out, number 9.
Yeah, I've got hard work.
Score the goals. I think that's what every side says at times, don't they? You need a 20-goal season, 30-goal season striker. Had to come by, but it's what I think the side was lacking at times. It was, you were thinking where the goals are going to come from.
I think you're right there, George, because obviously they played Tom Pratt up there, and to some degrees it worked with his pace. But and the way he turned on the ball and turned and ran over. But I think a good bagsman, number 9, is worth the weight in gold, and you couldn't see that from Tom. Plays better as that false 10, doesn't he? Or that 10, doesn't he? In that 10 roll or out wide a bit more. As an out and out target man, for me, we got away with it a few times because of the way we played, and the way Tom is. But I think you're right.
Some teams took him out the game, didn't they? At times, it was hard for him coming up against 2 big 6'5" centre halves. His strength was just took out the game completely.
That's right, and the ball didn't stick so well, did it? But I mean, he did what he did. He did it really well.
Yeah.
But as a preferred option, you wouldn't want that. You would want that number 9. But I think Ty and John were always after.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of hard-working forwards. Like I said, they weren't prolific. Liam Tonga chipped in with 12 goals from midfield, which was good. And I think, obviously, they'll be looking to get more goals out of Tom Pratt next year, in which case, if they do, then we could be in the money. And certainly Chris Sharp will be looking to improve. He brings a lot to the team as well with his target man presence up there as well. So if you can play in and around him and get in somebody in the Illiman mode as well, who's tricky and fast, then we'll look good going forward.
There was a couple of times in the season where we had Chris Sharp, Dan Turner up front, Tom Pratt up front. It's not to say they didn't work hard, but you're only ever going to get short spells. They all had 4 and 4. I think at one point it was for Sharpie. Dan Turner at the start of the season, but then I faded away and ended up going to Matlock in the end. So we need really a reliable number 9. But as I said before, they're hard to come by.
Yeah, that's the thing with the money issues. But I think it's been great that the fans have really rallied round in the last month or two with the virtual games and what everyone's done to promote it, and also getting involved in 50-50 draw. I've got the prediction sheet, which has had this weekend's games on as well. So it's really helped. It's helped pay the bills off the field, which means that they don't have to worry so much as maybe other clubs do, and it'll stand us in good stead, hopefully, for when the season's up and running.
Yeah, it's all about sort of how we can actually gain an advantage on the other teams now.
Yeah.
In this unusual period that we're in, who knows when pre-season's going to even start? But if we can get into pre-season with the same lads that we had and with a few additions, and not just start again from scratch like we did at the start of this season, with a load of young lads who didn't know each other, and obviously Dave and John coming in, and everything being a bit different. If we can start the season with the same group, and it's the other clubs who are starting with a mixed bag of players, then that'll give us a good advantage right from the start.
Another thing was we had about 4, 5, 6 maybe contract players at most. Most other teams in the league have got nearly double figures in contracted players. So there was a lot. That's a lot of money for them to kind of pay out towards the end of the contract, especially if they've got another year on the deal, which is what some clubs in the league have got. And we've been quite lucky in that respect. We don't have to pay as much out.
Yeah, I think this will hopefully be one of the more well-off clubs, because you won't get clubs splashing out the money like they won't be able to now, will they? Even though I see like Liam Hyde's gone to Grantham, for example, but which is a good move for them, a good signing. Some clubs are still making moves now, but I think it'll be more of an even keel when the season starts now, won't it? Budgets won't matter quite as much.
Well, players will have to. I've seen a couple of things on social media. Players might have to realise that they might have to take a £50 cut here, a £100 cut there, because clubs just won't be able to afford the wages that some of the players are on next season. So it's going to be a completely different game next season, and who knows what's going to happen.
And like I've talked to Liam Tong and Chris Sharp as well previously, and they've all said about the coaching of Dave and John is what attracts a lot of players there. It's not necessarily the money. So as I say, now that we're kind of on an even keel financially in terms of competing with other teams, that may well be the advantage as well, the 4G pitch, the fact that you're going to improve as a player also.
I think that's what John and TY have got to do. They've got to sell the club to these players, like George and Dean have said, it's going to be a different season next season. It's more of a level. Things are going to level out. You're going to have clubs that have got owners who may not have the money or the financial clout they had this year, pre-COVID. Clubs are going to struggle budgetary wise. Players are going to have to look for a little bit different than say the extra 10 or the extra whatever they're being paid. They've got to cut the cloth accordingly, and I think that's where Hyde can have an advantage over some, especially with the facilities.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously there's the shares now. If you're a shareholder, you can contribute to your membership and pay a little bit extra if you want to as well. And I think that's more vital than ever. I think it's kind of this period's really brought everyone together, hasn't it, in terms of one club, haven't they?
The kind of the things that we've done off the pitch in the last month, 2 months have been great, really, haven't they? The virtual games were a massive success. One of the first teams to do that I've seen since then. Other teams have thought that's a really good idea. We're gonna try and follow that because it made a lot of money for the club and everyone loved them, didn't they? You know, the videos, all the players got involved. It was a really good idea.
Yeah, we should have put a copyright on that.
Yeah.
It's little things like that, though, isn't it, that are making the difference going forward? Because we came up with that idea first, seemingly, and if that gives us an advantage by us being on top of finances and everything now, ahead of everybody else who might be struggling to do that, then again we're going to gain something from that, aren't we? So.
Oh, 100%. And also I spoke to Coyne as well recently, and we've got a really good junior setup as well. And it's so encouraging to see like younger people just walking around Hyde in general in Hyde shirts and Hyde gear now, because the kids want to come to Hyde, they support Hyde, and it's great. And the attendances have slowly gone up as well this season, and hopefully they'll come back, they'll bring a mate, and that's the way to do it, really.
5-6 years ago, there wasn't this sort of structure to the club. There wasn't as more of an in-house junior setup as there is now.
No.
Everyone's bringing other people on, like you said, to games. There's a lot more structure to the club, and that's dedication to the work that's being done off the pitch. Since, was it 4 or 5 years ago now, we got become fan owned. We had to take a lot more responsibility, voluntarily, a lot of people as well, to make sure we've got the right structure. Yeah,
I mean, all the kids as well look up to the players in awe. Apart from you, Brownie, you look at them in awe, but you're a lot older than them. But I just like the fact they can go and get an autograph off them, and they look at them and things like that, and it's great. And it feels like something's we're on the cusp of something, aren't we? This season's really given us a platform, I think, to build now.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, off the field, a lot of the issues that we had, not issues, but maybe some of the debts that we had and bills have been reduced, and we're starting to have a budget where we're halfway through the season. It's not going to be dramatically cut if you don't have a cup run. Therefore, a manager like Davey knows throughout the season, this is what he's going to be, this is what he's got to use on a budget-wise to sign players. And there's not going to be any sort of break up or inconsistency through the season where it's just not going to click.
Yeah, and obviously in terms of next season, then biggest challenges probably up at the top of the league will be, not saying we'll be up there, but certainly going for it will be South Shields and Baseford again, potentially Gainsborough, although we said that the last couple of seasons and it didn't really happen for them, did it? So it's going to be interesting again, I think. Up at the top, Warrington, they'll be there or thereabouts. They've always got
FC United
core to them as well. FC United, yeah, of course, yeah. If they can keep hold of Tunde, see how that all goes. So it's a really strong league now. It's not like it was 5-6 years ago where you just need a couple of good teams, somebody to get a good start, and you're away. I mean, anyone can beat anyone.
We saw that, didn't we, throughout the season? Anyone can beat anyone. Surprise results, and they're not really surprising anymore, are they?
No, I mean we try and do the predictions every week, don't we? At the start.
No, we don't. It don't work, does it? Now
it doesn't work because you can't predict it. We always go, oh, that'll be a rubbish game, and it's like a 3-3 draw, and then
0-0.
You think that'll be a home banker, and it's not, and it's.
We saw it as well, didn't we? First hand with like the FC United game away, where we won early on in the season, with the lads that we had at the start of the season. I think only 5 or 6 of them lads are still with the squad at the end of the season. That wasn't the same FC United who turned up at our place.
No.
A few months later, and I'm pretty sure the South Shields that we beat 1-0 away wasn't the same South Shields that would have been coming to Fields towards the end of the season there. But that just shows you how things can change throughout the season. Other teams got stronger, and we got stronger as well.
You learn, don't you, over the course of the season?
Yeah, I think you could tell it. You could tell they'd learned. I mean, they had that period over Christmas where they really struggled, and then we had a couple of games called off. I think we had 2 weeks to get a lot of training into the players, and from there it just seemed to take off from there. And as I say, the season, despite us losing at Morpeth, we did play really well in that game, and there was a lot of momentum going into that. And as I say, can take that into next season, all being well. But a good point was made to me as well by somebody who covers Chester City, and he was saying, with the situation now, squads will be a lot smaller, but you'll have a lot more quality, won't you? So you'll have a lot of the better players dropping down, which is why I think you see the results that you see, because teams have a lot better quality players, because you've got either somebody who's really good but is only in the academy and isn't going to make it in the first team, or there's budget cuts. You've got somebody who's maybe fallen out of love with the game and he's bounced down the leagues, or you've got someone who's up and coming, got a bit of experience as well. So it's, as I say, it's not like it was 5 or 6 years ago where you may get the odd ex-Football League player who's on his way down and just wants to carry on playing for the love. You've got good quality players in there now.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see that after the FC, after we're getting beat at home at FC, which I went to, because I dip in and out. So obviously I turn up, and then a month later there might be a couple of additions or a couple of players have gone. I noticed that when we played Grantham, we beat them 3-0. I know it was Grantham, but it's no disrespect to Grantham. We had Allison in goal. We'd got Ash Young as a defensive midfielder, who to me is everything you want out of a defensive midfielder. You know,
it was a big difference when he came in as well.
His range of passing was something I haven't seen from a centre midfielder for a while anyway, playing for Hyde. He just seemed to slot in so easily and link up well.
Yeah, you know, he sat in front of that back four, protected that back four, but that gave the license for people like Tommy to actually go forward, and actually do what he's meant to do, attack, from the midfield position. And then we had Ndai, is it Ndai, Illiman? Ndai came in. I mean, what a revelation. Well, I looked at him, I was like, what's this? He's like, someone said, you've got to see this guy play. I turn up, and he's like, technically, for 18, 19,
a lot of confidence as well, just to do some of the stuff they did.
Yeah, the confidence to go against a lot older players, physically more about them. But he wasn't scared of that. He would go back, he'd get a knock, he'd go back and do it. He'd be straight up again. That's what I like. No rolling around, and the tricks and the flicks. Just the joy to watch.
It was so frustrating, wasn't it, to think that Illy had just scored his first goal for the club and he was playing so well, and he came in and took him about 5 or 6 games to properly get going. It just seemed like we were just starting to see the real Illy, and then everything stopped.
Hopefully we can get him back on loan at the start of the season, because Sheffield United might not feel he's got many games into him from us. So I'd love to see him. If we can get him on a season-long loan, I'll be skipping. But if we can even get him for 2 or 3 months, I'll be delighted.
I'll skip up to Hyde for that one.
Yeah.
I think Dave talked about getting goals and assists into his game, and as Dean said before, it did take him 5 or 6 games to get going, and Dave started to get him into him. It's all right doing all the tricks and the flicks, but we need goals and assists from you. We need an end contribution. And towards the end, that's what he started producing. Obviously, season was cut short. Was it about 10 games in the end? Season was cut short, but so we didn't quite see him chip in with any more, but he was good to watch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think one of his first touches against Grantham was a nutmeg, wasn't it? And I always remember that nutmeg on David Norris. I mentioned it to Tongi and Sharpie before, and he nutmegged David Norris. He's played about 500 league games, and in the end, Norris just hacked him down, and people tried to kick him, they just couldn't get near him, could they?
I think Matlock were the team that hated him the most. He must have been taken out 5 or 6 times in that game.
He just smiled and walked away, though, didn't he? That was what was good about him. He just wound up the opposition even more. They tried to wind him up, so he just nutmegged him. And I love it when a player does that, because young players can react, can't they? They can be lured into it and get a stupid red card, but he just lets his football do the talking, doesn't he?
He definitely made an impact. Even though he only scored the one goal, you know, he was linking up well with Pratty and Paddy and the forwards as well. You know, and some of these lads who've come in over the years on loan have made an impact. Look at Connor Simpson the other year. You know, so it is great to dip into this loan market every now and again. They don't all work, but you know, fair play to these clubs and the lads as well for coming down to Hyde and doing what and showing us what they're all about.
And that's a good point you raised, Dean, because that's another thing we're going to have to dip into the loan market a lot more over the next season or two. And I know Dave and John are always out watching games. I think they're more aware now of who they need to get in, the type of player.
They've got good links, haven't they, with some of these league clubs?
Yeah. And it's like say it's a type of player, somebody who's going to excite, but somebody who's going to work hard, somebody who's not afraid to get stuck in and not afraid to get kicked either. You see a few home players and they freeze a little bit, don't they? But
they go into the shell, don't they? And they don't step up to it with it physically anyway. But
one thing
One
thing I noticed this year, we seem to get a lot of loan players in from the same clubs, and I think that helped. Like for example, at the end we had Illy, didn't we? But we also had the other lad in midfield,
Richard, yeah.
Who came in, and you know, them two at least knew each other before they even started training with the rest of the lads. I'm sure the lads made them feel welcome, but just having that someone else with you at the same time, maybe that helped as well. So maybe we could get some sort of deal with the club. You know, maybe take 2 or 3 on loan or something from the same club. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, then that'd be maybe something that we could use to our advantage.
Bro, so I mean, just before we wrap up, obviously, well, first of all, stay safe and look after yourselves. But we're probably looking at maybe the back end of this year, start of next year before we see some football. So plenty of time to reflect. But what are your sort of expectations? Without obviously, I know that the gaffer might be watching this, but I suppose just to keep improving again, isn't it? If we get in the playoffs, great. If not, as long as we finish higher than I think we finished, was it 9th the season before and then 10th this season? We probably would have beaten that 9th position this season. So I suppose it's again just looking to see improvement, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Sorry about that.
No, go on, Dave. Okay, go on.
I was going to say, I think that if we could again hit the ground running and just try and keep that momentum going this season, rather than sort of having that kind of dip that we had after a few games. You know, if we could keep the consistent 11 out there every week, that'd be a big advantage. Try and get a little bit more experience in if we can. But I was quite happy with the squad at the end of the season. And as I said earlier, you know, it'd be great if we could keep all of those lads together. You might lose the odd one, but if we could keep the majority of them in there, then they already know the structure of the club. They know how the training methods work. They've got that already, you know, and that will give us a massive advantage. And you know, some of these other clubs, they might have more money, but you know, if we've got the you know, the sort of the drive and the will, you know, and these lads who want it straight away, even the young lads who might come in or whatever, as long as they understand what the club's about, what it means to wear that shirt, then you know, we'll do all right next season.
Yeah, it's not all about the money; it's about the organisation as well, and like I say, the setup in general. And Dave and John they'll after about 4 or 5 games, the players know what it's drilled into them, isn't it? They kind of know what they need to do, don't they, every week now, which is good because it means Dave and John have to say less and less. The players can just go out and do their jobs, and it's like managers say, let the opposition worry about us, and we don't worry about them.
I think the most important thing whenever the new season starts is to try and keep, like as we've said a couple of times, keep hold of the nucleus of the 11, the spine of the team. You know, I think Jordan I don't know if he was contracted or not, but you've got like players like Jordan Fagbola, Liam Tong, Ash Young, Paddy Lane, who's, you know, obviously going to have his suitors. You need to hopefully try and keep hold of these players because they're what are going to try and take you to the next level, keep you improving every season.
Yeah, I think George and Dean, you echo exactly what I say. Consistency, really. You know, if we can get a good start to the season, always helps, doesn't it? If you get a few points under your bag, it helped us immensely this season. That start at the beginning really did. If we were going to have a wobble, we did have a wobble, but that start gave us that cushion not for us to panic and to give Ty and John, the time to go out and recruit wisely. I think for me, we probably made the recruitment was good, but we used a lot. There was a lot of players, like churn rate, of players. If we can keep that down, keep the consistency in the team. Now, I don't see any reason why we can't make the playoffs, but definitely a more settled side. And if we can keep the majority of the lads we finished with, be a great season, I'm sure.
It's funny you mentioned about the good start. I remember laughing. I think there was a stage where I think we went a month without winning a game. We just stayed in 8th place for about a month, even though we didn't win. It's just teams caught us up on other games, but we just didn't move. And so like you say, it was a good cushion to have. A good start's always good to have. And the season we've been promoted is the seasons when we've had a good start and carried it on. And then when you have your wobble, it means when you come out the other side, you're still in a strong position.
You've got enough to fall back on, haven't you, if you have a good start? I mean, this season we had a good start, like Brownie said, we had that wobble, but we didn't need to panic too much because we were in a decent position in the league at that point. We were dropping down a couple of places, 8th, 9th, 10th, but it wasn't like we were near the bottom of the league, falling into the relegation zone. Then you start panicking then, so the good start really helped.
Well, guys, as I say, look after yourselves. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all when the season starts.